Now, the family of beaten WBS TV journalist Andrew Lwanga called for justice to prevail for the brutal acts inflicted on him by the now suspended Old Kampala DPC Joram Mwesige. The victim's mother, Jennifer Lwanga, said that his suspension is not enough punishment for the officer. This as Andrew Lwanga remains admitted at St. Francis Hospital in Nsambya, with doctors hopeful the situation can be managed.
Known to be joyous amongst his peers, many find it hard to believe this is happening to Andrew Lwanga now. Lying in his hospital bed at St. Francis Hospital in Nsambya, Lwanga is battling for his life. All Andrew Lwanga can do now is look at friends and relatives who come to visit him in hospital. Since he cannot sit upright, one has to bend and listen to what he has to say. It is this situation that saddens Jennifer Lwanga, Andrew Lwanga's mother.
Abaana bano nga bakola babawa ekitiibwa kuba nabo baba ku mirimu gyabwe nga nabo bennyini babeera ku mirimu gyabwe kuba abaana bo banoonya kubeerawo nga n'abasirikale bennyini banoonya kubeerawo naye ate babakuba baba nga abawaguddeko olutalo ne babakuba nga ababbi ate nga n'omubbi bamukwata ne bamutwala ku poliisi ne batamukuba ate ne bamuta.
Andrew Lwanga was on Monday this week beaten up by now suspended Old Kampala DPC Joram Mwesige as he covered the unemployed youth protest in Kampala. It's against this background that police resolved to suspend Mwesige from duty as it investigates the matter. But Jennifer Lwanga says this is not enough punishment compared to the state Andrew is in at the moment.
Njagala bamuliyirire kuba ajja kumala ebbanga nga takola kye nga tasobola kukola omutwe gumulumanyi ate emirimu kyakola gibeera mu musana n'omusirikale yamukubye njagala abonerezebwe ng'amateeka bwe galagira.
Dr. Edward Dumba, the acting medical director in Nsambya Hospital, says they are still working round the clock to save Lwanga's life.
His main complaint was dizziness when he tries to sit, and therefore he cannot stand and walk on his own. So he's lying down most of the time. The appetite is still poor, but we are encouraging him to eat and drink. But we think he's going to make a very good recovery.
In a related development, MPs on the Parliamentary Forum for Media are the latest to condemn the conduct of the police officer and are asking the IGP, General Kale Kaihura, to show cause as to why the country should believe he's not behind the brutality.
We have come here to condemn, first of all, the acts, to condemn the abuse of the freedom of journalists and Ugandans in general.
Inspector General of the Uganda Police Force ensures that thorough investigations are carried out and the perpetrators are brought to book. This should be done to its logical conclusion with the public informed at every stage.
Still in critical condition, Andrew remains under close monitoring at Nsambya Hospital. Shamin Batalo, WBS News.
Suspended District Police Commander of Old Kampala, Joram Mwesige, was charged before Buganda Road Court. Mwesige faces charges of assault and malicious damage of property. He was bailed, but trial starts on Friday next week.
Joram Mwesige was bailed by Buganda Road Court Grade 1 Magistrate Sanyu Matovo. Mwesige denied the charges and the trial will start Friday. He faces charges of assaulting WBS TV journalist Andrew Lwanga as well as Joseph Setimba of the Vision Group and malicious damage of cameras and a trouser. State Prosecutor Deborah Ayotoro told court that Mwesige at Florida Bar and Guest House along Namirembe Road assaulted Andrew Lwanga and spoiled his camera. Mwesige denied the charges and asked for bail that was granted after payment of 800,000 shillings and non-cash bond of 2 million shillings for each of the sureties. The state prosecutor told court that investigations into the matter were complete and asked for hearing of the case to start. Court subsequently adjourned to Friday when the trial is expected to kick off. Some of the journalists in court, however, questioned the charges brought against Mwesigye, saying they were weaker compared to what he did to the journalists.
Of course, this was expected because it was police that took him to court, so they had to be lenient by all means. We shall leave that process, but we're also starting a new war. We are opening fresher charges on him. So on Monday, he should be prepared. And we hope that we'll end up in Luzira, because this is not something so light.
The two journalists remain admitted in hospital, and it is still uncertain that they can be part of the witnesses.
The Inspector General of Police, General Kale Kaihura, snapped journalists in a meeting that had been scheduled to resolve the standoff between the institution he heads and the media fraternity. The IGP had scheduled this meeting on Monday when the incident happened, but by Thursday morning kept on postponing the meeting until journalists ran out of patience. They then resolved to continue with their blackout on the institution as they seek to petition the line ministry.
2 p.m., journalists had made it to the police headquarters in Naguru, ready to meet with the Inspector General of Police, General Kale Kaihura, to resolve the current standoff between the police and the media following the Monday incident in which 2 journalists were beaten by suspended Old Kampala DPC Joram Mwesigye. Journalists were kept waiting outside the police headquarters after being informed that the IGP was attending another meeting far away from his Naguru offices. At exactly 3 p.m., police officers manning the police headquarters informed journalists that the IGP was on his way to address them. Here, the media was allowed access to police headquarters boardroom, where they again waited from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. By 5 p.m., journalists' patience had run out and they stormed out of the boardroom without seeing the Inspector General of Police.
But he's the one who invited us, would have taken a courtesy of coming and meet us. Our grievances still stand and we are looking for a way forward.
We are carrying on our boycott the way we have decided. Until then, until we meet someone bigger than
they called us here at 2. You know, we are made to stand out of the gate for some time, but we became patient, you know, as if we were fools.
In their resolve, the journalists continue with their blackout as they now move to petition the line minister, General Aronda Kanyakairima.
Now that we have not made the IGP, the status quo remains, and we want to appeal to every media practitioner to bear with us and stand in solidarity at this very trying moment.
The Inspector General of Police had scheduled the meeting to resolve the current standoff following the misconduct of his officer while dispersing a riot of unemployed youth in which 2 journalists were beaten and are both admitted.
Stay with us now here on Week in Focus on WBS TV. There is still so much more to come. You're still watching Week in Focus on WBS TV. Welcome back. The controversial Lord Mayor for Kampala City, Erias Lukwago, revealed that the takeover of the management of taxi parks by KCCA has paved way for city tycoons who had unlawfully acquired prime plots in the old taxi park to start developing these plots. We'll bring you more in this report.
This is a new construction site of an arcade which is being erected on one of the plots that initially were part of the old taxi park. Workers on this site are reported to be working throughout the night to have the structure completed. However, the haste and hurry remain a matter of suspicion. In an interview with the Lord Mayor, Erias Lukwago, whose operations remain a bone of legal contention, says this is the beginning of mushrooming unlawful shopping arcades.
There are lots of shady deals, lots of dubious transactions being executed by those very people in the KCCA and the so-called tycoons. And all these movements you see, the antics, the machinations, they are all intended to hoodwink Ugandans that there is development going on in the old taxi parks, whereas they are paving way for these so-called tycoons to take over and grab that land. I have concrete evidence on this.
The dilemma here stems from a government directive to have the management of the taxi parks in the city under KCCA and police.
There is a sinister motive behind that. They are trying to put up a kind of a facade, a picture of development. When Utoda was evicted, there is even a document that was issued by Madam Jennifer Semakrams that from today onwards, KCCA shall take charge of the taxi parks. And indeed, she went ahead to appoint, to handpick a team which was never even vetted or approved by the authority. Now, 2 years down the road, you hear another takeover. When you have been, the very people who have been in charge of the taxi parks. So the question which is lingering on my mind, the question which is not answered up to now, and I want to pose it to those who are masquerading, I want to ask them, is it Kaihura or Jennifer who is going to take charge, direct control of the taxi parks? So if it's going again to be through proxies, where is the change?
The taxi drivers operating now live in panic of the nearing extinction of their daily source of income. In the meeting between the president and the taxi operators, the president is reported to have ordered Kampala Capital City Authority to have all tycoons owning prime plots in the old taxi park compensated. However, Lukwago says that all city tycoons who own plots here in the old taxi park have no authentic document to justify their ownership of the plots in question.
There is no clear record on how these transactions were executed. They were just deals, shady deals. They were done clandestinely. No, they didn't comply with the procurement processes. And there is nothing that you can enforce when it is rooted in fraud. So the fraud they perpetrated has caught up with them now. Because even if you were to talk about the compensation, none of these people, the so-called tycoons, will produce a receipt on how much, to prove how much they paid. Just ask one person like Mandela or Chirumira or any other person who came to have bought land there. Let them produce receipts. They spent colossal sums of money in kickbacks, and that cannot be atoned for, can't be compensated for.
But Kampala Capital City Authority spokesperson Peter Kauju denies commenting on the matter, claiming that it would be contempt of court since many of the tycoons owning plots in the old taxi park have sued the authority on the matter. But with this structure coming up here, court is reported to have cleared the owner to commence with the building of the shopping arcade.
There are also some other few plots where there is an ongoing court process. We shall await the outcome of the court as a law-abiding entity, and in the meantime we are planning for the area that is free of any encumbrance.
In spite of this fracas playing out between the authority and the tycoons in the courts of law, the government is reported to be in negotiations with the Lord Mayor, geared at having him reoccupy his office at KCCA.